You do not own your intelligence. You rent it. Every single month, you pay a subscription fee to access a brain that lives on a server you cannot see. Owned by a company you cannot trust. You feed it your business plans. You feed it your code. You feed it your private thoughts. And at any moment, they can pull the plug. This is the reality of cloud AI. It is convenient, but it is a trap. Today, we break out of the cage. To understand why we are here, we have to look at the history of ownership. In the 1990s, when you bought software, you owned it. You got a disk, it was yours forever. Then, Silicon Valley realized something. Selling you a product once is bad for business. Renting it to you forever, that is where the billions are. They call it SaaS, software as a service. I call it digital feudalism. You own nothing. You are a tenant on their land. And now they have applied this same model to intelligence itself. But money isn't the real cost. The real cost is privacy. When you type a prompt into a cloud LLM, where does that data go? It doesn't disappear. It is stored. It is analyzed. Imagine you are building a startup. You paste your strategy into the chat. You have just handed your competitive advantage to the enemy. It has already happened. Major corporations have banned these tools because they know the truth. There is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. But the era of the cloud is cracking. A rebellion is forming. We call them local LLMs. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how to build this infrastructure. We will cover 3 things. 1. Hardware. 2. Install. 3. Protocol. First, I'll show you why a consumer laptop can now beat a corporate server if you choose the right specs. I've spent 6 months and thousands of dollars testing every model from Llama to DeepSeek, so you don't have to waste a penny. And finally, at the end, I will show you the air gap protocol. I'm going to physically cut my internet connection and ask the AI to analyze my private financial data. You need to see the result to believe it. The rebellion starts with your hardware. Let's look at the specs. Stop looking at your processor speed. In the world of AI, CPU is irrelevant. The only metric that matters is VRAM. Think of VRAM as disk space. A 70 billion parameter model, which rivals GPT-4, requires about 40 gigabytes of space just to open its eyes. Here is the problem. The most powerful consumer graphics card on Earth, the NVIDIA RTX 4090, only has 24 gigabytes. It physically cannot fit the brain. If you try to run a smart model on a standard gaming PC, it will crash. This is the VRAM wall. This is where Apple accidentally changed the industry. They introduced unified memory. On a PC, your system RAM and your GPU RAM are separate. On an Apple Silicon chip, they are one pool. This means you can buy a MacBook with 128 gigabytes of RAM, and the AI can use all of it. While the PC gamer is stuck running dumb 8 billion parameter models, the Mac user is running God-tier 70 billion parameter models. For the sovereign individual, memory is king. But wait, you ask, I don't have $4,000 for a MacBook. There is a cheat code. It is called quantization. We lose a tiny fraction of intelligence, maybe 2%, but we cut the VRAM requirement in half. Most AI models are massive, but we can compress them down to int4, 4-bit precision. This allows you to run a shockingly smart brain on a standard 16-gigabyte laptop. You don't need a supercomputer, you just need to know how to compress the file. Now that you understand the hardware, let's install the brain. We begin with the daemon. This is the background service that manages the memory and compute of your GPU. Once installed, it runs silently. You don't interact with the app icon. You interact with it via the terminal or API. When you see listening on port 11434, your machine has officially become a server. Now we need to choose a brain. This depends entirely on the VRAM constraints we discussed. For most laptops with 16 gigabytes of unified memory, the 8 billion parameter model is the sweet spot. It balances speed with reasoning capability. We pull the model. This is a one-time download. Once these weights are on your disk, you never need the internet again. We do not want to work in the command line. We need a workspace. The industry standard is Open WebUI, running inside a Docker container. This connects to the Ollama daemon we just set up. It gives you the ChatGPT experience, chat history, dark mode, user management, but fully self-hosted. Here is where you gain the advantage over the cloud. You can hard-code the behavior of your AI. You don't have to repeat your preferences every time. You bake them into the system. You can create a coder persona, a legal persona, or a writer persona. This creates a specialized employee that lives on your sidebar. Finally, the litmus test. Processing sensitive data via RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. We disconnect the line. This ensures total data sovereignty. There is physically no way for this data to leave your machine. It analyzes the vector embeddings locally. Zero leakage, zero risk. This is the offline empire. Now, let's look at the economics. Cloud AI operates on a metered basis. Every token you generate, every analysis you run, adds to your monthly overhead. This discourages experimentation. You hesitate to run a complex prompt because it costs money. Local AI is a fixed-cost asset. Once you purchase the hardware, the marginal cost of generation effectively hits zero. You are paying only for electricity. For developers running automated tests or analysts processing large data sets, the ROI on a high-spec local machine is often less than 8 months compared to enterprise API subscriptions. This allows for specialized workflows. You stop using one general assistant for everything. You build a fleet. You configure specific models for specific tasks. A coding model that only speaks Python, a creative model for drafting, a logic-heavy model for data analysis. These become permanent tools in your software stack, always available, always consistent. The goal here isn't just privacy. It is reliability. SaaS companies change their pricing. They change their terms of service. They have outages. By owning the infrastructure, you remove external dependencies. You ensure that your intelligence is an asset you own, not a service you rent. Don't rent your capability. Build it. I'll see you in the next one.